Hi everyone, how are you doing today? All good, all good. So we finished the last lab like 10 minutes late, so we're gonna give you another 10 minutes to start the lecture. So enjoy the extra 10 minutes. All right. So let's slowly start. How's everyone feeling about what we've learned so far today? Good, good. Yes, hi, Subeda. Okay, so not too bad. Good, good. All right. As long as you guys don't have any problems, that's very good. I'm still waiting for people to join. Confused with last lab. Okay, see, two people are asking. I mean, we can definitely help you out with that in the next lab. Might be the solution at the end where you're trying to play which you didn't touch before. All right. I mean, yeah. So what I can do, I saw some screenshots from one student, but it seems like she made it from her last experience. Okay, so what I can do, I can incorporate a bit of what we've learned from the last lecture to my lecture from here and the next one onwards. We're essentially still gonna keep on learning about loops. So for you guys, is the concept of loops clear to you? Like what we need it for or how it works essentially? Yeah, for any lab questions, we can definitely help you out during the other labs or maybe even the office hours. That's not a problem. Don't worry about that. Try to focus on the lectures. I would say there are times where we do overlap and the stuff that maybe you had confusion from the previous lectures or previous labs might get cleared out during the current lectures. So I will always say, like, don't really worry that much about the lab. The lab is for practice, definitely. So it is going to be a little challenging. So yeah, don't worry about it too much. Just focus on the lecture and likely it will get sorted out. If not, we are definitely here to help you. Okay? All right. So from the last lecture, what kind of loops did we learn about? Mm-hmm. Or loops counting up. Yeah, basically. So basically we learned about for loops, right? Now in for loops, what have we seen? There's a part where we initiate it, where the counting starts, where it checks if the values are as per condition, or if they are the same. Then there's the third part of the for loop where we see that we are incrementing the initial value of the variable. So let me start my screen share and show you guys examples. Mhm. All right, is my screen visible for you guys? That is perfect. Let me just open up a new folder. Today is what, September 28th. This will be lecture 18. Yeah. Oh, damn. Okay, so we've learned about for loops. We did a couple of examples. Now let's do another in class. Okay, let me just copy the whole thing so that it's easier for you guys to see. So now when you open a website, what's the first thing you see? Or maybe let's forget about a website. When you open when you try to open your phone, what's the first thing you see? You get if you have it set, the lock screen, yeah. So when you open it up, it asks you for a password, right? A passcode. Now, it could be anything, honestly. Now, passcode is a very standard security system now, right? For anything. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that could be a password. All right. So the first thing we see when we try to open the phone or anything is a security system. That is the password. Now, for most phones or most systems, you'll see when you enter a password for more than 5 times, it locks it, right? Locks the device. You can't really enter your password anymore until a certain time. Now, for our example, let's not think of it in such a complicated way. Let's try to make it easier. How so? Let's let's try to make a system that will essentially take 3 tries, right? Now, when I try to do this, what's the first thing that I will need? Guys, what's the first thing that we need? Reset counter. That's not really where we exactly begin, per se. Okay, let's see the answers first, then I'll go for it. The question was, now if we try to build this security system, say where, let me just write down that thing with comments. Security system that allows 3 tries. Oh, well, we are going to walk through the formula, but what's the main thing? Yeah, I see a lot of answers over here. User prompt. That is something that we will require at the very, very beginning, right? Yeah, using if conditions, library. If and for both. Okay, let's see how we go from here. But first, what we do, we initialize the prompt, right? So let's write down const prompt equals to require prompt sync. Let's first initialize the prompt because in order to get passwords from the user, we will require inputs, correct? Exactly. So now let's try and build our system from here on. So the first thing that we need is we need this the user to the person owning the system to set a password for the device. So let's start from that, or we could even set one ourselves for over here, for example. But why not try out the whole thing? So let's first set it out ourselves. Let pass equals to, yeah, I saw someone writing down 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. Let's try this out as a password first, okay? So now we have our initial password that we are gonna base our entire system off, right? Okay. Now let's take the user password, the password the user is gonna try or enter. I will name this pass check. All right, equals to prompt enter password. Okay, should this work? What do you guys think? No, it's not the whole system yet, but let's go step by step. So first, what am I doing? I'm taking a password from the user, right? We will add the 3 tries later. Let's just make sure our inputs are working properly. So yes, we are not really confirming it yet. We are just checking if our inputs are going in properly. So if I want to see if my inputs are coming in properly, I also want to check what the input is, right? So console.log pass check. This will just display the user input to see if the variable is actually holding something or not. Correct? All right, let's do that first. Let me open the terminal. So let me install. It. Hmm. All right. Now, you guys, do you think my code will run? Let's give it a try. It did work. For people saying no, I just wanna know why you thought that there would be an error for this program. Because okay. Okay. Now we will work on the errors that you guys are having in the lab, but let's try to understand what I'm doing over here. That's gonna help you out with your problem as well. Just try to stick to the steps. All right, so let's enter the password, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now what I have confirmed is that my prompt is working properly. For a lot of you, the prompt has been a very big issue. So that's why I wanted to clear that one out first. So what do you guys think? Do you sort of get the idea of the steps I'm following over here? Or should I repeat? I need everyone to answer. That way I can be sure that none of you are having the issues. Okay, as long as you guys understand. All right, so prompt works. We can take in a password now. Our variable will hold anything that we enter through the prompt. Okay, so let's build our program from here on. Okay, we can use for loops, that's for sure. We need a variable to store pass check. No, because pass check itself is a variable that's holding the password. Is that clear for you, Christine? All right. We need an invalid confirmation. Yes, we will do all that. We are slowly, step by step, getting to it. I would say for now, just try to follow the steps. And after every step, I want you guys to stop me if you guys have any problem and just clear out whatever problem you have with that part, okay? Make sense? Yes, see? So if you guys kind of follow the steps I'm doing it from the scratch. I'm doing it the same way you guys would be doing, so that if you follow this particular way of doing it, you won't be having the same problem again. We're just displaying the input. It can be checked with the store value to verify. Yes, we will definitely verify. I'm just getting to that in the next part. So for checking if these two are same, what are we gonna do? Let's try checking it once. Right? So let's try to check the passwords once. Let me just comment this one out. First, let's try to check this one once if the passwords are the same. If pass equal to pass check. What do? We print console.log. That's, why not add a few exclamation marks, huh? Okay. So then we go for else. For else, what do we print? Let's try this. Yeah, you could write anything, honestly, but since I'm just checking this once, I just want to see if my if condition is working properly. If you see, I'm actually covering all the concepts that we have learned so far step by step. So do try to follow, because this is sort of an overview of the past 2 days, or basically what we've learned throughout the week. Make sense? Okay, so now we're trying out the conditional statements. So let's see if this one works. Node lecture 18. Enter password. Let me go for 1235. See? What's our password over here that's set? It's 1234. But what did I enter? 1235. So it did not pass the check. That's why it went to the else statement. That means this condition, it is not complete. If this condition is not complete, will the computer go to this block or this block? What do you guys think? The last one, right? So in order for it to enter the first block, we need to pass or complete this condition. This condition needs to be correct. If not, it goes to the second block. Does that make sense for everyone? All right. That means our if-else conditions are good. We shouldn't have problems with that. Okay, so now that we have a checker going on, what do we do with this? We are gonna add a loop that gives you 3 tries. Okay, let me go to the next line. All right, where I will declare a for loop. You guys tell me, how should I write this for loop? The conditions. So we have three parts, right? Right? It looks something like this. Is this correct or not? Okay. So let's do this first. So first I write let's take I as a variable, okay? And since I want to run it 3 times, okay, so I start from 0. Now, I'll ask you guys this question. Why do we start from 0 and not 1? Okay, you can do both. You can do both. But the reason why we start from 0, because the computer starts its indexing from 0. You know how we start counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on? The computer actually starts from 0. Does that make sense for you guys? Okay. So, I mean, you guys can change it to anything. You can start from 1 as well, but depending on that, you will need to change the remaining conditions, okay? All right. So, let us do the next part. So over here, what should I write? I should be less than how many attempts? 3. Why did I not write less than equal to? That means we would have gotten 4 tries, right? We don't want that. We want 3 tries. So that's why we have put here I less than 0. Now, for I to move forward to the next part, we essentially need to increment it, right? I know most of you know the short version of this, but I want to make it crystal clear. That's why I'm going to go for the longer version. Does this make sense? So essentially, what are we doing over here? We are going from I equals to, I believe Salwa has a question. You could just turn on your mic and go ahead.
Yes, Tasneem, so if we were to initialize I at 1,
Mhm.
does that mean that we would change then I less than and equal to 3, correct?
Exactly,
Okay,
exactly. That's
great,
what I
thank
was
you.
saying, that you can start from 1, but depending on that, you will have to change the
Okay,
remaining as well.
okay, thank you.
Yeah, I plus equals to 1 works as well. But let's stick to this for now. So our conditions for the for loop is done, right? Any questions so far? You can't really use 1 plus plus, you have to use I plus plus. Or in general, yeah, the variable, you can use that as well. So the for loop, now everything's set. It's gonna try three times. What am I saying? Can you explain again? You don't really need to write I equals to I plus 1. You could write I plus plus as well, but I am just writing it in the most elaborate way for you guys to understand. So I equals to I plus 1 means every time the loop is done, it's gonna increment or increase the value of I by 1. Esra, does that make sense for you? Okay, can you explain again why I is not less than equal to 3? Okay, so how many times do we need to check the passwords? What are the max times you can check? 3. Now, if I'm starting my count from 0, where does it take us? For like 3 times from 0. No, count it like this. 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so now you tell me, if I start from 0, where do I end? 3 times later? Someone said 4. It's not even here. Yes. So, no, we do not end at 3. If you see over here, so the first time it counts, it starts from 0. That's first time, first attempt, second attempt, third attempt. Do we need to go to this? Do we need to go to 3? No, right? So what's happening? First time, second time, and third time. Clear? All right. Moving forward from here, now we have created a for loop. What do we write inside? Okay, I believe Hannah has a question.
Yeah, sorry for interrupting you.
Oh,
I just have a question. If we repeat the loop for 3 times, so this is gonna be 3 trail, and already we ask the user to enter the password before the loop. So this is the fourth one gonna be.
oh no, no. I'm actually going step by step.
Okay, okay,
I
got it.
will change that.
Okay, okay, no worries.
What I was gonna do, I was gonna cut this and paste this over here.
Okay, no worries. Okay.
So, any other questions so far? Okay, so we have created a for loop that's gonna go for 3 times. Now, what do we do inside it? Let us put in the if condition that we created before. Make sense? Ask the user to enter the password. That we already did. Actually, you are right. We have to do this inside the loop as well. Hmm. Sorry, the indentation's a little off for some reason because I copy pasted it. Someone's saying do the checking, but it should be inside the loop. Yeah, so essentially that's what we're doing. So now let's kind of figure it out slowly again. All right, so inside the loop, the first thing that we have to do, we have to ask the user for the password 3 times, correct? Okay, now what we have to do, we have to check the password 3 times as well. Now let's put in this, which is the if statement. let's change this. Let's not keep it to fraud anymore. Let's just go for a try again. Okay, so what did I essentially do? In order to check a password, what I have to do, the user has to enter the password first. Then I have to check the password with the preset one, right? And then based on that, I decide if the user is successful at finding the password or if the user is wrong and the user needs to try again. Does that make sense for you guys? Everyone, I need everyone to answer. Okay. So that means we are good. Okay, Salwa has a question, I believe.
Yes, Tasneem, sorry. Can you go over again why we we moved the loop?
We moved the loop.
Yeah, before let the passcode, that was before the loop. And now it seems like, I don't know if I'm getting myself confused. Seems
No,
like now it's above it.
um, let the let pass check. Is this one what you're talking about?
Sorry, can you scroll up even more?
Yeah, that
Yeah, so initially we had let the pass check after the console, and then the loop came afterwards.
okay, okay. Let
Yeah, so why did we change it?
let me clear myself out again.
Okay,
So
okay,
I was kind of covering all of the topics in a very short example.
okay.
You know, all the topics that we've learned so far this week, I was trying to cover as much as possible with one example, trying to show you guys how all of these are connected. And in that particular process, I was just trying to clear it out step by step. So that's why I was just checking everything before, and now I'm just bringing it all together. Does that make sense for you, Salva?
Okay, so this is the correct order then, right?
Yes, this
That,
is the
okay,
correct order. Before I
okay,
was
thank you.
just,
Yeah, going over the concepts that we reviewed.
yes, exactly.
Okay, I see, thank you.
Now, so what we've learned is we went through all the concepts that we've learned so far, and now we're kind of binding it all together to make one proper program. Does that make sense for everyone? Any questions about this? Alrighty. Okay, let's go. So, what happens inside the loop? Let's first run this. Okay. Let's see if I get any errors. Okay, no errors, I guess. So you guys tell me a password. Other than 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the first one's 1, 3, 3. It didn't work out. Try again, right? The next one I have is roses. Did not work out. It's asking me to try again, right? Then I have 1925. Let's try that. It's asking me to try again. But you see, the program kind of ended over here. Now, let's try to do something where if the user is using it or tried it for more than 3 times, the system goes into lock. How do we do that? What do you guys think? Hmm. You reach 3 tries. But the loop is gonna run the same thing again and again. Right. If else, that's what we need over here. So where do I actually put in the if else? Right over here in the else block, right? Because this is where we need it right now. So let me put in an if. Now, how are we going to decide when to print what? So let's do this. If I, which is the main initiator for the loop, is equal to, yeah, I think someone has already wrote in the chat to check if I is equal to 2. Exactly. So we check if I is equals to 2. If so, then what do we do? Then we console.log.
Um,
Yeah.
we could also do that, have a variable called lock. And if it is successful, we set the lock to 0 or to false. And before we do the for loop, and when it is when it fails the password check, you set it to true. So if the lock condition is true, then we say that your account is locked. And if the lock condition is false, that means you've successfully entered whatever.
Yeah, you can do that. But if you see, in order to do that as well, you have to keep count of the iterator. So I essentially, it's called the iterator. So we have to keep an eye on its value, on whether if it reached the end. So regardless if you have a separate variable that we're changing to true or false, what we have to do, we do have to check if I is equal to 2. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I mean,
even if I is equal to 1, and if it is successful, it will come out, right?
yeah, it will. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Let's do it one by one. So
This,
over here, any questions, guys?
yes, I have one question. We can do it like else if and do it I less than 2 instead of I equal 2. And do the try again inside the I less than 2. And once it's reached 2, we're gonna do the else, the last else, right?
Yeah, we can do that as well. We can check if I is less than 2. As long as I is less than 2, it's gonna say try again.
Mhm.
And if it's
The last
not,
else, yeah, gonna be like lock account.
yeah, like I said, so for any program, there's a lot of ways you can do it. Like you guys can see it for yourself now that a lot of different algorithms are possible for one particular output. So, okay, let's do this like this for now. So if it's equal to 2, what is it gonna print? It's gonna print locked. Okay, so afterwards, let's provide a else condition as well. Why is my caps lock on? Else. Okay, so what's essentially happening over here? If I is 2, then we are gonna print that it's locked, haha. But if, I know no system talks like that, but we are making it, we can do whatever we want, right? So if I is not equal to 2, what is it gonna print? Try again. Now, if we see this was the else part. Now, what if it's successful? Is it still gonna keep on running 3 times? Let's try that, okay? Note lecture 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. See? It's asking for password again. Why? Because this loop is gonna keep on running for 3 times unless it reaches its end. But we got our desired output. How do we put an end to it? What we can do is, let me just finish this off. What we can do is over here, we can add a break. Let's see if this works. See? Now that we have added the break, once the passwords match, the program is done. It just says success and it's complete. It did its job. It did its job. Does that make sense for everybody so far? Everyone, what if we added console.log, you reached your 3 tries outside the loop? So if you do that, if you put anything outside the loop, it's gonna print it regardless if it's successful or it's locked. Does that make sense for you? No. Okay, let's try it then. Console dot gonna print it. Okay, I have a couple of questions lined up. I equal to okay. I'm getting to that. Let me just finish up with this question. So console.log. Now what am I doing? I'm printing something outside the loop. All right. Now Ezra asked that if we put console.log, you reached your 3 tries outside the loop, what's gonna happen? So let's see it for ourselves. You have reached your 3 tries. All right, now, if I run this, Esra, what do you think the answer is gonna be? Let's do this. Let's match the password right away. You see, even though it's successful, it's still showing you have 3 tries. So how it works is once you go out of the loop, it's gonna print it regardless if your passwords match or not. Does that make sense? Everyone? Confusion? Nothing? For this part at least. No confusion? Anyone? All right. So,
Can I suggest something here?
yeah, of
We
course.
can, instead of write break, we can set up I as equal 3. So it's gonna, once it's gonna go for the loop again, it's gonna quit the loop, right?
Yeah, you can do that as well, but break is a more standard practice. It's much
Oh,
more easier because now we are doing one loop. If we have more than one, then you don't want to change the values like that. It's gonna mess up with the orientation. We're gonna see it later.
okay.
But for now, does this make sense?
Mhm.
Okay, so we've seen, oh, Salwa has a question, right?
Sorry, can you repeat the break part again?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So what break does is it takes you out of the loop. That's essentially its only purpose. So you know how a loop will keep on going until it's done with its number of times? It's like a machine. Say you ask a machine to make 5 baskets. It will keep on making 5 baskets, but if you pull the plug on it, it's gonna stop, right? Or if you
But
stop the machine, it's gonna stop. Essentially, that's what break is doing. It puts a stop to the loop and just takes us out of it. Does that
but
make sense?
wouldn't that automatically happen if they got their password right? So if they got the password right, they would get the success prompt and it would automatically take them out of the loop,
No,
correct?
no, it will not. Because the loop, so it's like this. The loop doesn't really understand what's going inside the loop brackets. Its sole job is to keep repeating for 3 times, right? Does that make sense for you?
Oh, okay, because we entered, I see, because what I was thinking was for passcodes, we've never had to enter the break, but this is because we're entering the loop and we have to now articulate that the computer needs to stop.
Exactly. The computer
Okay,
doesn't know when to stop. The computer will only stop once it's done with its job,
okay,
which is running it 3 times.
I see.
So
Okay.
what do you do to stop the loop then? Yeah, to stop the loop, we add the break, right? Najla, is that clear for you?
But you just said if you keep asking 3 times because of the loop.
Okay, so how it works is the loop will keep on going 3 times unless we ask it to stop, right? Now your question is, how do we ask it to stop? Am I correct?
Well, you said it break, but then you said if you keep asking until it takes the 3 times. So it didn't stop. Really.
I believe there was a misunderstanding. So let me rephrase what I said.
Okay.
So just hear me out over here. A loop will keep on going for the number of times it's supposed to go. But now the question is, how do you stop the loop?
Yes.
We stop the loop using this break. Is that clear for you?
So if you run again on terminal, it will not ask again?
No, it will definitely ask. When we run it in the terminal, it's like a new program again, right? So every time I write node lecture 18, it runs the program from the beginning.
Ah. Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yes, yes.
Anyone, any more questions about break?
For time in a ATM machine, it will stop.
Yeah, essentially that's what will do.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I scrolled up. Any questions for that? Scroll down, okay. You know what, let me just put this one, this. There's not a lot done there, but okay. So I also believe a lot of people had a question about why we're checking if I is equals to 2. So if you have seen, I went off screen a bit, what break means. So break to open again, no. Essentially what it does is, so a loop will keep on going the number of times, right? It's supposed to go. In this case, it's supposed to go 3 times. What break will do, break will stop the loop and take us out of the loop on demand. Like when we want it, the loop will stop if we add break. Does that make sense for you? Okay, so now the I equal to part. We are checking if I is equal to 2 because if you see over here, 2 is the last iteration for this loop. So 2 is the last time that the entire for loop is gonna run. Does that make sense? for people who had that question? Okay, good. So 2 is the last time it's gonna run. So we are just checking if I is equals to 2. Because if it's 2, then we know it's the last time. We cannot give them another try. That means we move on to say locked. Everyone clear so far? Okay, a short summary. What have we learned in this lecture? We had like a small overview of the entire week, or at least the concepts that we have used. So what are the concepts? At first, we saw how to take inputs using prompt. Is that part clear for everyone? I want everyone to say yes or no. Okay, good. Now, the next part we tried was to use a if statement. Is that part clear for everyone? How to make a if statement? Yes or no, everyone? All right. That was the second step, right? Now, the third step was the loop. For the loop, what did we do? We kinda incorporated all of that to make our program, right? Is that part clear for you guys? Where the main magic is happening inside the loop and the concept of loop itself? Crystal clear. Perfect. That's what we want. All right. If that is understandable for you guys, you can go on a well-deserved 10-minute break. I feel I need more examples for the break. We will definitely use this more, but for this example, is it clear for you, Esra? Okay, we are definitely going to see more examples throughout the program because break is a very important important component of this. So Salwa has a question.
Yes, Tasneem, I guess we can check this after the break. On my end, there seems to be an error, and I think it might have something to do with the braces. But I was wondering if maybe you can have a quick look at it whenever you get a chance.
Oh yeah, for sure, I can do
Yeah.
that. How about all of us? We go on a 10-minute break now and we come back. For people with problems, we can open our breakout rooms and we can help you out separately over there. Other than that, we'll have a small lab assignment, all right? Okay, so let's stop sharing my screen here and let's go on our break. See you in 10 minutes. All right, we are back. So how are you guys feeling about the contents now? Questions, problems, anything conceptual that's a problem? All is good. That's what we like to hear. Everyone else? Yeah, I mean, take your time, try to practice as much as you can, because, you know, for everything, practice makes perfect. All right, these are all very good feedbacks. Now, let us go to our lab activity. So I believe the lab activity is already posted, but I'll still screen share it. My screen's visible for everyone. Alrighty. So what you have to do essentially, you use your ATM machine code that you made for lab this morning. Keep your old code and write new code for an ATM machine that keeps asking the user for how much money they want to deposit or withdraw. Positive number is deposit, negative number is withdraw. The ATM adjusts the total balance in the account according to the user's input and keeps asking until the user enters 0. Does that make sense for everybody? So essentially you keep on taking the input till the user enters 0. No, user enters 0 in a sense that user doesn't want to withdraw or deposit any money. That's what it means by user enters 0. Got it? All right, so let's begin. Yes, you might have to use a for loop, but that is up to you. Because this is entirely for practice, I want you guys to do it yourself. Okay, so you guys begin. And for people who have problems, do raise your hands. Me or Aleem, we're gonna take you to a breakout room and we're gonna help you out with that, all right? Sounds good? All right, yes, I remember Salwa had a problem. I'll just open up a breakout room. Okay, Aleem, the breakout rooms are open, so I'm just gonna take Salwa to a room over here, and if a question comes in, you can just take the rest, okay?
Sounds good. All right. Yeah, I see you have your hand raised. Let's head to a breakout room.
Yes, Najla, you have a question?
Break is not working. I just got part of it.
All right, so for problems from previous labs, I can check it out in the next lab in a breakout room.
Okay.
All right, so for now, I will go ahead for the next lecture. But how are you guys feeling about all this? Is it clearer now, what we've learned so far this week? Overwhelmed? Yes. Can get a little overwhelming at times, but the key is to stay consistent and keep practicing. But the concepts are clear, but my eyes need a long break. Hey, you and me both. It has been a long day for everyone. We have covered quite a lot of topics. But what's important is if you guys get the concepts properly. That's what we want to clear out first. I mean, the concept, okay, if it doesn't work at the lab, we can help you out with that. That's not a problem. Maybe there's a minor issue that you need help with. Then I have someone saying, treat, please. Yeah, we can definitely give you a few more assignments. Not a problem. Why, that's a treat. You get to learn more. All right, all jokes aside. Do you recommend any other website to practice? The best website to ask for help is ChatGPT at this point. You can just ask for small problems that you can practice for loops. And I'm pretty sure ChatGPT will help you out with what kind of problems you can practice. That's cheating. If you're talking about ChatGPT, honestly, how you use it is up to you. You can use it for your help. You can use it to get the whole answer as well. Now, we're all here to learn, so let's use ChatGPT for our best. You can also tell ChatGPT, just tell me a few examples that I can practice. Don't give me the answer. We'll just give you questions. So ChatGPT will give you whatever you want. All right. Everything except money, right? If they're giving us everything, why not money? Maybe add that to the next update. I'm gonna complain. Regardless, I just hope the previous concepts are clear for you guys. Want ChatGPT to cook for me. Yeah, maybe when they come up with a AI robot later on, maybe ChatGPT can do that for you as well. But that's not happening anytime soon. I think it's way in the future. All right. So far, loops are clear, what we've learned. Guys, wake up. I want answers. All right, that's good to know. All right. So now, so far, we know how to do for loops, but there are actually more kind of loops for specific purposes. The one that we're gonna learn in this lab is gonna be the while loop. Have you guys heard of the while loop before? All right, that's good. A lot of you have idea about how the things go. That means if you don't, that's not a problem because I'm gonna cover the whole thing from the top in this lecture. Yeah, it is similar to for. Essentially, it is looping whatever you want it to loop. All right, let me just quickly set it up and share my screen. Okay. Now let's see an example with while loop. Okay, I'll share my screen. Okay. Is my screen visible for you guys? Alrighty. So, why should we use a while loop? We already have for loops. Why do we need another one, right? Why do you think? What's the difference? Okay, so what a while loop is needed for is it essentially is used when you don't really know when you want the loop to end. If the condition is always true, it can run for infinite, yeah, definitely. But we don't want it to run infinitely. We want it to stop at one point. And the whole idea is we don't really know when we want it to stop. So we are gonna figure that out. Let's see an example for that, okay? Sorry about that. Everyone with me so far? Okay. So let me write down the example that we're gonna do right now. Part 2. Just gonna turn my mic off for a bit. All right, so part 2, and then so this is the example that we will be doing right now. So we are gonna essentially work on a thermostat heating system that keeps running while the room temperature is below the desired set point. Or is this the example? Actually, no. Let's do something else. Let's not do that. Let's do this. Let's make a coffee machine. Everyone loves coffee here, right? Definitely. I feel like I need one right now. Regardless, don't like coffee? What do you drink for energy? When you're sleepy, when you need to stay up late. Okay, let's get back to the lecture. Energy drink. Wow, okay, that's not good for you. Natural juice. Yeah, that is good. Matcha tea. Yeah, we got a lot of options over here. I should take those into account. All right, let's get back to the lecture now. So, coffee machine. So the idea for this is I have a, right, you guys remember, for me it's soda. Okay. So the idea for this example is you have a coffee machine that dispenses coffee until it runs out of water. The machine starts with a full tank of water, enough to have 5 cups of coffee. So after dispensing each cup, what will it do? It will check if it still has water left to continue and notifies the user if it's empty. So let's write that down to make it easier for us. Oh God, no. Let's do it step by step, actually. So first, what do we know? We have a coffee machine that dispenses coffee until it runs out of water. Next, what's the next thing? The machine starts with a full tank and we'll have enough water to make 5 cups of coffee. So that's another condition over here, right? Let's paste that. So after dispensing each cup, what does it do? It checks if it still has water. And at the end, if it's left to continue, it just notifies the user if it has anything more left in it. Okay, so these are the steps. So the machine starts with a full tank, enough to make 5 cups. So we know the maximum number of cups will be 5. Then, after dispensing each cup, it will check if it's still got water inside, for which we need what do we need for that to check if it still has water? What kind of conditional statement do we need, guys? If, right? If else. If or else. Correct. So it will check if it still has water left to continue, or it notifies the user that it's empty. So let's build on that, okay? So let's do one thing. Let's first take a variable for the cups of water. So essentially, it can make 5 cups, right? After each cup, we want to make sure that this cup does not have the same value. In other words, we decrease the number of cups left in this cup. What am I saying? Number of cups left for the coffee machine. All right, so number of cups equal to 5. Okay, so that's out of the way. Now, next, what do we do? Next, we have to run a loop. So we already know how to use for loop, but in this case, do we really know when to end? No. So the water will keep on dispensing, or the coffee machine will keep on dispensing until we decide to finish it. Okay? So let's go ahead and start a while loop. There you go. So now, can't we make it so it only works 5 times, then resets when water is refilled using for loop? We can do that, but we are trying to learn the concept of while loop. Let's try to use this example to do that, all right? Okay. Like I said in the last class, the last lecture, that you can do one problem in many different ways. You can solve one problem in many different ways. You'll see everyone having their own algorithm to a problem. So let's go ahead. Okay, now for this loop, how long will it run? As long as the cup has water, right? Which means the number of cups of water left in the coffee machine should be more than 0. Is that clear for you guys? Yes or no in the chat, please. Perfect. So now we have our condition. What do we do next? We go ahead to show that the coffee maker, sorry about that, the coffee maker is starting to dispense coffee. So this is where it begins. Console.log dispensing a coffee cup. Now, so it gives you an alert that it's dispensing 1 cup. right? Now, if we go ahead to the next part where we are actually letting go of a cup of water and kinda going forward with that. So over here, let's do a if statement now. So far, are you guys with me? Questions? No questions. Good. All right. So now we need a if statement to see if we have enough water in the cup. Actually, what we can do, let's rephrase this. Let's cut this part off. Let's first use the if statement. What should the condition be? That the cup is not empty, right? Questions, guys? Is that the first thing that we have to check, if the cup is empty or not? Yes, so that is what we have to check. So over here, I am gonna use a concept of, actually, no, let's not use that here. Let's keep it simple. So let me check if the cup has 0 water left. Then I have else. Okay, so now if the cup has no more water left, what is it gonna do? It is going to display console.log refill tank. Yeah, so it's gonna ask you to refill the tank. So far, so good. That is when the cup doesn't have any water. So if the cup is 0 or less, it won't enter the loop. Yes, if the cup level is, if the water level is 0 or less, it's not gonna enter the loop. Okay, so this part's out of the way. Now we know if the cup's empty, this is what's gonna happen. But like I said before, this loop is gonna keep on going because over here it says that as long as cups of water is greater than 0, right? So whenever it's, actually we can do this, yeah. Let's not think of breaks yet. Let's go to the else condition. So we would start with 0, then move to 1. Yes, essentially that's what we are doing. So let's not think of breaks yet, because the variable itself is, it's gonna do something over here. Do we need to add additional to add on the cup of water? No, we don't have to add anything. We are just gonna make a simple program that to add on, no, we are not gonna add to the cup of water. We're actually gonna decrease it. But we will do that later on, okay? So let's make the else block over here when the coffee maker is not actually empty. So when the coffee maker is not actually empty, what is it gonna do? It's gonna essentially dispense a coffee cup. Now, after it's dispensing a coffee cup, does it have the same amount of water left in it? No, right? So now, will the cups of water over here still be 5? No, right? So let's do this. Cups of water equals to cups of water minus 1. Exactly. So we dispensed 1 coffee cup. That means we have to take away 1 coffee cup worth of water from the coffee maker. So essentially we have 4 more cups left now. So every time it does this, it will reduce the number of coffee cups by 1. So I believe actually our code is complete. Let's do this now. But okay, is it actually complete? Why so? Why is it not complete? There's no way for the user to ask for a coffee cup. So now let's do one thing. Let's add a prompt over here. So every time we dispense a coffee cup, I don't want to go into nested if right now. How do I put this? Hmm. Okay, let's not go that complicated now because we're going to have to add another if statement. Let's first see if this one runs properly, okay? We're going to do that later. Would you put it before the loop? If we put it before the loop, it's only going to ask once. It's not going to ask again and again. So let's first see if this works, the main function of it, which is checking if the coffee maker still has enough water. Essentially, the goal for this program is that we are just checking if the coffee maker has enough water. There's actually nothing related to the user over here, but we can add on to that later on. But for now, let's focus on this. So far what I've done, do you guys have any question? No, right? Okay, so let's try to run this loop, which is node lecture 18. Oh God, no. It's gonna do that thing again. Okay, so as you can see over here, every time I pressed enter, it is dispensing a coffee cup. Is that what it is? I need to put this in a new file, I think. No, lecture 18. Okay. So if you see, it's dispensing a coffee cup right away. It's doing it 5 times directly. Why? Because it's just running the whole thing again and again. There's no user contact with this. So what we can do, we can add a bit of user experience to this, which is, let's get rid of this now. So we understand how the checker works, right? Do you understand that? It keeps on dispensing a coffee cup as long as there's water. Let's get rid of this now. Okay. Now, why don't we take an input from the user? So let's print this. Console Was the previous part clear, where we were just checking if there's enough water? That's clear, everyone? I need answers from everyone. Okay, good. So now I think someone asked a question. Why do we need if else inside while when we can do without it? I haven't really checked your algorithm yet. I'll have to go through that. Okay. So like I said, there's a lot of ways of doing it. I am doing it by covering all the concepts. All right. So over here, I'm getting cups of water. I'm getting cups of water is not defined error. There is a chance you did not do this line over here that I did. Or check the name of the variable. Maybe you entered that wrong in the next line. That could be a reason too. But regardless, if there's like a problem, I can check that out later. Yeah, first check if you correctly initiated the variable. Then check wherever you use that variable if you entered the variable name correctly, okay? Since JavaScript is case sensitive, a small caps lock can change the entire outcome of the program. So let's go ahead with this now. So let's first ask the user, do you want coffee? Do you want coffee? Or actually, let's rephrase this. If you want coffee, type yes. And if you want to otherwise type no. Okay, this should work. Is there? Okay. Yeah, this shows I need a coffee too right now. Okay. So if you want coffee, type yes. Otherwise, type no. Now, this will show every single time the loop runs. So let's first take an input from the user. Say, let's just name this user, okay? Then prompt. Actually, I'll do this. So do you want coffee? If you want coffee, type yes. Otherwise, type no. So what user will do, it will save the answer yes or no in it, okay? Let's go forward and create a if statement. So now I have to check if the user wants coffee or not. So let's create a if statement over here. Okay, else. So what should I put over here inside the if statement? I have to check if user is saying yes. Otherwise, it will be no. User equals to no. So far, so good? No questions so far? Do we need to have a space between else and if? I believe for JavaScript it's different like this. We might need to have that. Just give me 1 second. Yeah, we need to have the space. Okay. So far so good. Then let's proceed. Salwa has a question.
Yeah, Tasneem, why do we have the empty braces? Will you be entering something in there?
Yes, I'm just
Okay,
laying
okay.
out the structure before I go and
I see. Thank you.
fill it out. So if the user says yes, what do? We do the entire coffee maker program where it checks if the coffee maker has enough water and all that. And if it does, it will dispense water. So what I can do, I had already done it before. Let me just, oh, wow, okay, I think I deleted it. Nice, we can do it again. So first I print console.log dispensing coffee. Right? So this is what we do first. We're showing that we're dispensing coffee. Then what do? We decrease the value of cups of water equals to, yes, exactly, cups of water minus 1. So what this does, it it checks for the coffee. Now, is this correct actually? Guys, do you think this is correct? This is actually not entirely correct, because once the user says yes, we also have to check if the coffee cup has enough water. Right, exactly. So I'm gonna add another if over here, which will be cups of water equals to 0. So let's do that. Okay, so that's done. So if the coffee maker has enough water for the coffee, this will go into the if block. If it doesn't have enough water for the coffee, what will it do? It will write down refill. But if we don't have enough water, we won't be able to enter the loop even to reach this condition. No, we won't. So that's why we are reducing the number of coffee cups every single time the user will say yes. So let me just finish up with this console.log refill. Okay, so what I'm essentially doing over here, I'm first checking if the user actually wants coffee, right? If the user wants coffee, what do I have to see? If the coffee maker has enough water for the coffee, right? That would be a different kind of condition, but based on the condition that I want, if the coffee maker, what did I do here? Well, I actually did it the other way around. Okay, Control V. This is what I actually want. Right, there you go. All right, so thank you for that, Ryan. So if the user says yes, it's gonna check if the coffee maker has enough water for coffee. If it has enough water, it will go in and it's gonna say it's dispensing coffee, and then it will reduce the number of coffee cups by 1. Is that clear? And it will keep on doing that till the coffee cup is empty. Everyone, any question? No questions? Alrighty. Okay. So yeah, so now we know that if the coffee cup has enough water, or if the user wants coffee, it will do that. But what if the user says no? Will the loop keep on running? No. For that, we just break. Is that clear, guys? Questions? I need everyone to answer. If you have questions, do you have questions? Did you add const require? Yes, I'm using the same file, so I don't have to do it again. Can you scroll so that we can see the whole program? Yeah, for sure. I think it starts from here. Actually, let me do one thing. Put this over here. Okay, you should be able to see the whole program now. Is the whole program visible for you guys? So far, so good. Any questions, guys? We are almost towards the end of this lecture. Let's try to make sure like this part is solid. So why do we use the while loops? While loops, guys, why do we use while loops? I haven't run it actually. Let me see if I have an error. We use it if, okay. Essentially, while is equals to true. Just give me a second. Let me just run this real quick. Okay, so it's asking me if I want coffee. So I will say yes. Mhm. Oh, that's why. I see what's happening. Okay. Did you assign value to cups of water? Yes, I did assign values to cups of water. Right over here. So you're saying your loop keeps on going, right? Let's see if it goes 5 times for me. Yes. 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 Mine is working 5 times. It's because over here it says dispensing coffee. Right, okay. Okay. So I have to add a couple more stuff to make sure this one is a bit more sound. Dispensing coffee. The last time it dispenses coffee, it should add a prompt. Keep getting a prompt is not defined error. Okay, so for that, it should be one of the following reasons. Either your prompt hasn't been initiated yet or you have to install it. Okay, so let's do one thing. If okay, so as you can see over here from the terminal, the last time it asks to dispense coffee, it doesn't give you a warning that your coffee maker is running low on water, right? We need to add that. So why don't we check if the coffee maker is running low on water? So for this, what we can do, we can check if the coffee maker is down to its last cup. In this case, what would the last cup be?
You need to, I think, add an equal to sign in the while cups of water is greater or equal to 0. That is when the refill thing was going to come up. Otherwise, it will never.
So greater than 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that should work. Or we could also add another if statement. Okay, let's try this. Node lecture 18. Okay, so let's try yes. So it wants coffee. Yes, it wants coffee. Yes, it wants coffee. Again, yes. Yes. There you go. See, you were right. So there's 2 ways to go about this. One, like she said, we add another equals to over here to cups of water. And what it does essentially, so it checks from like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but it doesn't really check 0, does it? That it has 0 cups of water. When it's 1 down to the last cup, that's where the program was finishing up. But as I added the equal to sign over here for the while loop, what it does is it essentially checks if there's no more water left. So you could do that with that, or you could even add a if statement over here to check if it's down to its last cup, where you say your coffee maker is running low on water. Does that make sense, guys? Questions? Questions, anyone? So far, so good. Try yes one more time. Oh, wow, it's in an infinite loop now. God. So this isn't actually working. All right. So the greater than equal to idea, it is not working. So what do we do now? We need to figure out another way. We could just add an if statement over here to check if it is down to the last cup of water. If cups of water equals to
You could put a break in the refill. That's when it is going to exit. Otherwise, it will go in infinite loop.
True. That's true as well. Let's try both, honestly. Let's do this. Do this later. Because my go-to approach was to add another if statement over here to make it a little more detailed, but this will work as well, I believe, because when it goes to refill, it keeps on going. You're right. Okay. So let's save this. It's saved. Let's try it now. This is a problem. Terminal, new terminal, node, lecture, 18. Yes. So it's dispensing coffee. It's dispensing coffee again. It's dispensing coffee. It's dispensing coffee. Refill and it's done. Okay. So this is a shorter approach to the whole problem. So like I said, if it's greater than equals to, it checks one more time at the end to see if it has any more water left. If it doesn't, it just goes to refill and gets out of the loop. But let's try it. Why did you write nested if you're able to write else if? I can't really, I did write else if as well, actually, if you take a look at that. But the nested if is required for it. So you can add two places where the loop can break. Yeah, you can. So depending on the condition, right? If you have multiple conditional statements, you have to use multiple breaks if needed. Okay, so what I was trying to do is try to make this a little more detailed. So this is a shorter version. Is everyone clear with the shorter version? Okay, Esra, I believe you have a question. Why did you write nested if you're able to write else if? Is that the question? Okay. So think of it like this. We are actually using a else if over here. If you see, this if statement ends here and the else if part starts from here. So I am actually using a else if, but the reason why I'm using another if statement inside is because that when the user says yes, what will the if block operate, or what will the if block do in case the condition is true? It needs to check if it has enough water, right? If it has enough water, then what will it do? It will dispense coffee. If it doesn't have enough water, what will it do? It will tell the user to refill it. Does that make sense for you, Isra? Clear? Questions, guys? Is the shorter version clear? Okay, I hope it's clear for everyone. So what I was trying to do is create an if-else statement over here. So this is another approach to it. So what this would essentially do, it would check if cups of water is down to its last cup, which is 1. That's the last cup, right? Now let's do this. Okay, so you see both the block are the same now, but why did I need this if statement? I needed this if statement to see if the program is towards its end, to see if the coffee maker is down to its last cup. So now if it's down to its last cup, what will it do? It will print out console.log. Okay, it would print out refiller low in water. Let's try it. Node lecture 18. Okay. Yes. 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 There you go. So the last time it dispenses coffee, it will tell you that it's low in water. Is this version clear for you guys? Yes, no? Everyone, please, I need your cooperation. How does it fix the loop? The loop wasn't really the problem in the first place. The problem was that at the end, it wasn't really telling us to refill the water, or it wasn't really saying that it didn't have enough water left in it. So essentially that's what we fixed. Daud, does that make sense for you? So do we understand both the parts? The shorter version, that was the easier version. Do we get the more elaborated version as well? Everyone, yes, no? So I can say so far so good. Amazing. You guys want me to paste the code over there? Sure. Oh no, no, we don't want that. So I assume the whole thing is clear for everyone. No more questions left. Anyone with any questions about this? Perfect. If everything is clear, Allow me to copy paste the whole thing. It is quite a lot. It doesn't actually let me copy paste the whole thing. I'm just gonna copy paste this part over here separate. I feel like these labs might require 2 hours instead of 1. We try to break it down like this is more like a trial week for this 1 hour class, 1 hour lab. So let's see how it goes. We will ask everyone for their feedback about this and kind of decide on it after, right? But so far about the lecture, any more questions? If not, let's go for a 10-minute break and come back for the lab, okay? All right, so I'll stop screen sharing. All right, so see you guys in 10 minutes. All right, we are back. Let me see. Okay. So, can you guys see the lab from Canvas, or do you want me to display it on the screen? Guys, yes or no? All right, then I'm not gonna display it again on the screen. I'm straight gonna head to the lab because we are kinda over the time for our lecture. But I see a lot of people have raised their hands already. So me and Alim, we're just gonna take you guys to breakout room slowly and try to figure out what the issue is, all right? Actually, I should explain the lab first. All right, so for the lab, what you have to do, you have to use everything you have learned so far to create a number guesser project that you have seen the instructors create. Make sure you do it yourself, of course. It is more important for us to know get how to do it. Oh yeah, so if the guess, so how the program will work essentially, if the guess is within 10 of the actual number, tell them they're warm, and if the guess is 10 away from the actual number, tell them they're cold. Does that make sense for you guys? Alrighty. Okay, so let's go to the breakout rooms, and those who can solve the problems, get started with it. Okay. Alright. So I believe Sandas, you have raised your hand first. I'm gonna take you to a breakout room. So is the guess number supposed to be larger than 10? Yes. So essentially it could be anything, but if it's essentially 10 off, you know, it's 10 more or less. That's what we're trying to understand from this, I think. So it's 10 away from the actual number. Doesn't matter if it's higher or lower. Based on that, you do the entire program, okay? Record forms. We use while loop for lab 1.1. I would suggest use while loop for the ones after, because I believe for that particular one, we're trying to see if your for loop is okay, your concept of for loop. Oh, Sandas, I believe you dropped the raise hand. Or do you still have the question? Oh, you still have the question? Okay, I'll take you to the breakout room.
All right. So I see, okay, I see Najla. Let's head to a breakout room.
Okay, now it's Najla's turn. Oh, Adim already took her to a breakout room. Let me go with Fatim.
All right, let's see. Okay, I see Sawa. So let's head to a breakout room.
All right, Dawood, I'll take you to our breakout room now. All right, everyone. So we are at the end of today's lab. I see a couple of you still have questions. What I would suggest, you could join the office hours from 7, or you could even ask us during the next lab tomorrow, early morning. Okay? But there's gonna be office hour from 7 to 8. You could definitely join that and clear out whatever problems you have. But for now, we will be ending the lab over here. Hope you guys understood the concepts that were taught today and everything is somewhat clear. It could be a little overwhelming for some people, but I would say that keep trying, watch the lecture videos, and kind of practice on your own, kind of play around with the code. That's the only way you kind of get a good hold of the concept of coding. It's not that hard. I believe every one of you get the concepts. It's just when you try to apply it, that's where the practice comes in, okay? So I'll keep it short and end it here. See you guys sharp tomorrow morning at 8. All right? Good night, guys.